closer look at what exactly has led to these massive protests in Nepal and how exactly the political uproar that has been seen on the streets of the Nepal. The immediate trigger point is the ban of the social media across many platforms that have come in. From September 4th, the ban had come into effect where Nepal decided to ban 26 major social media apps, while including the messaging apps also like Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, WhatsApp and X as well, YouTube, Reddit, LinkedIn, Signal, Snapchat and Discord. All of these were so far until now were operational until the Nepal government decided to ban these apps from all in fact platforms. Platforms then failed to comply with the new regulation requiring that actually led to the decision that has been taken by the Nepal government. The platforms had failed initially to comply with the new governmental regulations. While establishing a local office in Nepal, the new governmental regulation focused on these conditions. Now, if you look at the conditions to which the platforms could not comply to, they were also required to appoint a grievance officer, compliance officer and local point of contact. These are the new regulations that the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting of the Nepal government had put in. Now, the platforms failed to comply with these, then the government decided to take this decision. Another regulation that has been required to be mandated by the platforms include that a final 7-day deadline from the August 28 was given, and when the companies did not comply, then the ban was reinforced. And the ban particularly did not in fact lead to the kind of killing of the people that has come in, but at the same time the ban has led to a widespread protest at large in Nepal. Another regulation that required for the platforms was to also be seen as an attack on free expression, sparking outrage among the Nepal's youth. That is what the protesters have stated. Now, if we speak of this, what have the protesters been demanding? They have said that this is a ban on the free speech for the youth of the Nepal. The social media restrictions were tied to a new directive on the regulating that the use of the social media 2080 Act. This is what the government oversight bill, which is perceived as a censorship by the demonstrators, has also come in. Now, this has also largely triggered more anger towards the move that has then caused and turned into a very violent incident. All right, the government claimed it meant to make the platforms responsible and accountable. As the government anticipated, the protesters did in fact make this issue as the bigger chunk of why the demonstrations were carried out, and then the government had to also take back its decision. However, the critics and the journalists and rights groups have called it a censorship tool designed to silence the dissent. They all have collectively, in speaking to the media outlets from across the world, have said that this is an attempt to ban the freedom of expression, and this is a means of censorship to also make the dissent block. Now, the third one is rather important about the corruption and inequality. Protesters have also maintained that the bigger reason why the protests are being carried out is the fact that there are corruption and irregularities that have been also witnessed all across over the ban. In the government of Nepal, the youth has said that the corruption within the governmental institutions is also the main issue why the agitation has been strengthening, and while the growing anger at the government's authoritarian style is also one of the larger reason possibly for the youth to be now turning these protests violent. They have also highlighted the long-standing frustrations beyond the ban. All right, viewers, now we also look at other angles into how exactly the developments are coming up in Nepal, while we continue to get more details from the ground to understand